his first title defense, he's still chasing a legacy here, and you have to commend him for that call out, man. Ilya is probably the most dangerous fighter in the UFC right now.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Hurt Business Podcast. My name is Faris Sharari, and I'm joined today by my guy, my co-host, Mr.
Real bad man. What's up, G?
What's up, G? I love you. You already know what it is. You don't even let me do it no more. You just know you're the real bad man.
Hey, we got two real bad men on this podcast.
Yeah,
you see me?
You see me, all right, man.
You see me?
Have you seen that Bob Marley movie yet, bro?
Haven't seen it.
It's criminal. Have you seen Dune?
I haven't seen it. I'm gonna see it next week, though.
Wow, you've been.
I'm gonna
sleeping.
see it. I'm gonna see
sleeping.
it next week. I have been sleeping. I have been sleeping.
Wake up, man.
We got a lot to talk about, man. This $2.99 card, which was an insanely stacked, fun card, top to finish. And then we'll talk about this Anthony Joshua, and then maybe we'll get into a little bit of antics at the end. We'll see how we're feeling.
Hell yeah. What do you want to start with?
Let's get to that Joshua, man.
Yeah.
Oh man, this was a bittersweet moment, man, because this is the first time, and I'm a big fan of Francis Ngannou, but this is the first time he has ever been slain in any fashion in combat sports. I mean, the guy's lost before, but he's never been knocked out this way. And Anthony Joshua would have been the one to do that. We talked about this. We talked about this last podcast. This isn't anything new. It's just the heavyweights. You know, it was this could have been Anthony Joshua on the ground, right? You know, no different, but just a phenomenal performance by Anthony Joshua, which isn't saying much, right? Because Francis Ngannou is bare bones in the boxing ring. You know, he's got very simple basics of the boxing and just great power, but he just didn't have the tools to even compete with Anthony Joshua. I mean, Anthony Joshua, this was a very simple performance, all things considered. Yeah. A very simple boxing lesson for Francis Ngannou. Simple jabs and right hands. That's all it was. We didn't get to see any mix-ups from Anthony Joshua. He made this look so easy. He didn't need all the other tools he disposed against Usyk and, you know, Andy Ruiz and, you know, all these other guys, man, Joe Parker. We didn't get to see all those tools from Anthony Joshua. He kept it very simple, very cordial. Just a left jab and a right hand. And that's exactly how he took Ngannou out. And so I was very surprised. Yeah, I was very surprised that Ngannou took two of those right hands and then a jab. Basically, it got taken down by a jab. Which caught him off guard, and that's a shotgun jab. But as I mentioned, I was like, dude, that shotgun jab is going to go right down the middle. It's going to get Francis Ngannou every time. But for him to take two right hands, I thought after that second one, that would have been it.
Yeah.
He gets back up and goes right back down, but folded like a pretzel. Yeah. Like, it was probably one of the scariest boxing knockouts I've seen in a minute.
Yeah.
Like, to see a 280-pound man, 6'5", 6'6", go down like that, that's scary, you know.
It's bad, especially like at exact that weight and like at that angle. You see his leg, like his knee completely bent, and he was out cold,
gone. They brought the oxygen tanks out. The medics came out. It was bad.
Yeah, I agree. It was one of the baddest like heavyweight knockouts of all time because he caught him clean with that power, right? And it's like there was no flusher shot, possible. And AJ, especially a guy who like doesn't get the credit for the power a lot of the time. You know what I'm saying? This was a big one for him to completely torch Francis Ngannou. And we knew he was going to win this, but it was ultimately a matter of which AJ was going to show up, was going to determine how easy this fight was. And that was probably the best version of him, bro.
Yeah.
That dude's a real bad man. he's coming up like it's already known that he's fighting the winner of Fury Usyk. That's happening hopefully in a few months. And your boy could be undisputed. Your boy could, like, it's on the horizon for him.
It's so crazy to think that literally a year ago, he lost everything to Usyk.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
He comes back.
And also
three KOs.
Remember that
Yeah,
meltdown? That shit
yeah.
was insane. Like, after, like, that
I
was horrible to see as a
yeah,
fan. You gotta question
yeah.
his mental health, and he bounced back like this. That's
3
impressive.
knockouts, 1 TKO. If ever since that Usyk fight. So this is the best way possibly you could come back, and it's just so crazy how the stars align. You know, with Francis Ngannou being in the scene, he's probably single handedly the reason why he's fighting for this title again,
Yeah,
which is insane to me. The
it's
guy's
crazy.
0-1, didn't even win against Tyson Fury, and now he's getting that shot next. So that's really incredible, man. I'm happy. This is best time to be an Anthony Joshua fan, if you ask me,
Yeah, and
because
you've
we're
been
gonna
on.
get one of the best heavyweight boxing bouts, two of them back to back the sport has ever seen. We're gonna get Tyson versus Usyk, two undefeated fighters against Anthony Joshua, potentially. You know, so
Yeah,
this is a great time to start watching heavyweight boxing, man. This is going to be an insane comeback. I can feel it, man. The
yeah.
pieces are finally moving, man. The pieces are finally moving for heavyweights. We got more people involved now, and it's great. I love it.
Yo, what the fuck is that in the background, dude?
You're so pissed, dude.
It's a party in there. But yeah, I
Might
agree.
have to cut that off. We're cutting that part off. What is that?
Why?
9 minutes. Just cut
Why?
that little piece off, and then we'll go into your segment. Just keep that, dude. That I was about to punch my fucking mind about. Like, are you fucking serious right now?
When they get loud, bro, pass it off. Make it a conversation, G. Let's keep this pumping.
Yeah, no, but it came out of nowhere. All right, we're good. Just keep
Respect.
running it.
All right. I agree with that, dog. I think it's a huge time to be a fan of boxing, heavyweight boxing, and a fan of AJ. And you've been on the hype train for a minute now. So this is kind of a parade for you. And I hope you enjoy this moment as a long-term AJ fan. Uh and for me, I completely counted him out after that Usyk fight. Again, that was a horrible, like, display after a loss. I'd rather him just walk out, not shake nobody's hand, just leave versus, like, have a complete meltdown like that. But again, he's bounced back like a true champ, and he's could be a unified champ. Be 2025, end of 2024, and big fights are so much easier now that Saudi Arabia's in the picture.
Mhm.
So I'm
Yeah,
a big fan of all this, man.
yeah, it's great. It really is.
Also in the heavyweights, your boy Parker got a big win against my guy Wei Li Zhang in that undercard on Friday. What'd you think of that fight?
Yeah, I thought Chang fought the best way he could in the beginning of the fight. But then he just tired out, man.
Yeah,
Just completely got tired. He knocked Joseph Parker down. You know, he had some momentum, but then it
twice,
was exact twice. But it was
twice.
exactly how I said it was going to go down, man. He's just too big, man. He's like, he expends too much energy when he boxes, and I just think that a Joe Parker who's gone these distance rounds in these distant fights with these guys have some of the best people in the world, Anthony Joshua for one as well, and has never looked any better than this fight, man. He looked phenomenal in this fight, man. The jab was perfect.
Yeah,
His power shots were on the money. I know a lot of people were a big fan, or a lot of people became a fan of Joe Parker after his last fight, and they were expecting more of that serious power that we were seeing against Wilder. But Joe Parker's not really known for that.
mm,
He's not really like the power guy. Um, but he looked so good, man. I thought he
agreed.
he bounced back super well. He took that very well after those two knockdowns, and he just looked like the better fighter, more energy, looked more lively in there. Completely controlled the center of the ring like a true champion, and that was incredible. It was an incredible performance. Really good fight too,
Agreed.
overall.
Agreed with all points made. And I'll even add that I think I enjoyed this fight for him more than his previous fight against Wilder,
Yeah,
just because, like, he got dropped twice, and his ability to
yeah,
come back after, like, you're clearly down on the judges' scorecards, and you
yeah,
really have to dig to another gear in order to come back
yeah,
and win a decision in a 10-round fight.
yeah.
So
Tough.
yeah, man, it's impressive stuff, and all, like, puts him in a good spot in this heavyweight picture, like, of what can be
Yeah.
made next. Maybe he gets the loser of Usyk Fury, just setting him up for the winner of the heavyweight title fight.
Mhm.
I'm thinking like way in advance, but like it's exciting time to be a Joe Parker fan as well.
Yeah, I agree. You know, he could fight Andy Ruiz. We know Ruiz is looking for a fight as well.
Is that guy
That
still
could be.
fighting?
I think he's still fighting. He's still in the
Cool. I hope
rankings.
so. I hope so. I hope so.
I think
Send him in.
that I think that would be a much better fight to set up next. It just makes sense. You know, both
Yeah.
these guys need to fight. You
Former
know,
world champion.
former world champion, and this could be an excellent, you know, setup fight for that Fury Usyk potential. You know, but we know that Eddie's gonna really push this Anthony Joshua
For
winner.
sure. Yeah.
We know that's definitely top of his agenda right now.
Yeah. Yo, there was nobody more
He was
happy on
glazing.
Friday night than
Glazing him.
yo, nobody more happy than Eddie Hearn. Nobody.
He was like, "This is the best heavyweight boxer on the planet." Yada yada yada. It's
You
like,
need your promoter to do that though.
you
Respectfully,
need
like
it.
without a promoter like that, you can't become like a super duper duper
I agree. I agree.
So respect to Eddie for being like
Yeah.
the best promoter in all of combat sports.
He really has. He really is phenomenal.
On the last thing on boxing, an interesting fight has been announced that we can spend all of 30 seconds on this. Jake Paul, Mike Tyson on Netflix in a few months. The 57-year-old. Is that a BK Cub?
Can't get a lemonade?
Criminal gang.
I can't get a lemonade?
Respect.
Lemonade and chicken nuggets, bro. It's classic, bro.
Chicken nuggets is you didn't even get the chicken sticks, the chicken fries,
the spicy ones, bro. The spicy chicken nuggets, bro.
Ah, those are
with the barbecue sauce.
Good luck.
With the barbecue sauce, those go crazy.
That's violent. All right. Anyways, man. Mike Tyson, Jake Paul. Any stock? Any excitement?
No. This is Mike Tyson was seen literally a year ago walking around with a cane. I mean, that alone should tell you how I feel about this fight. It's disgraceful. Honestly, it really is shameless what Jake Paul's doing. But I have to give it to him. He's really, really good at keeping himself relevant. You know, I think he's a okay boxer, excellent promoter, great businessman, but just a shameless human being. You're gonna fight a 57-year-old, 58-year-old Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? What does this prove for you?
Exactly. What does that do? You you knock him out, you finish, and then what?
Cool. He's gonna walk around putting that band over his head for the rest of his life. I beat Mike Tyson.
Yeah, the former heavyweight champion of the world. Like, yeah, in the 70s.
But let's be honest, though. Let's be really, really honest. Jake Paul is a very intelligent man. You know for a fact he's not holding this over his head like it's some godly win. He knows what this does. You know, he's like, yeah, I get to say I beat Mike Tyson, but he's not really like, you know what I mean? He's not really like, it's for the other audience, you know, the audience, the casual audience that's like, oh yeah, Mike Tyson. Right. You know, it's for them. I'm sure after this he'll be like, man, that was disgusting, but it was a business move.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's how I view it.
You don't understand the amount of like random people that know I'm into combat sports and come up to me and like, oh, did you hear about this new Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson? And I'm like, fuck that shit, dude. Who gives a fuck? There's way better fights happening on a daily basis.
Yep.
57-year-old.
Now I will have to say, Conor Benn versus Manny Pacquiao. He knows better. This is shameless.
You don't like that one either?
This is disgusting. It is disgraceful. And I would never expect that from a young man as himself. Go fight Errol Spence, okay? Yeah. Fight somebody your own fucking size. Yeah. Fight somebody your own age. Why are you fighting this old man? He's the freaking, what is he, the fucking prime minister of goddamn the Philippines?
Yeah,
the president? Governor? What is he? Yeah. Like, he has his own thing, and it's just so funny to me how Manny Pacquiao, I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but it's so funny how Manny Pacquiao retired from the sport because he wanted to, you know, take part and put full time into his civil duties as whatever the fuck he's doing in the Philippines. And then he comes back and fights probably one of the most dangerous and youngest guys in the division. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't. So I'm looking at Conor Ben. I'm like, you're shameless. This is disgusting.
Yeah.
This is disgusting.
Pacquiao seen Floyd doing those exhibitions, making millions, and he's like, I wanna tap into that.
This is a sanctioned, ranked pro fight. This isn't an exhibition.
This is somebody on his way up to a potential world championship fight and a retired veteran.
Oh my god, man. This
shameless.
This is disgusting, man. I can't even. I have no words for this.
Yeah. It's crazy that the beginning of this conversation, we started with how good heavyweight boxing looks, and then we went into like these insane announcements that like casual idiots only watch.
Yeah, and then it's like nobody that's an actual boxing fan is gonna look at this fight and think, yeah, this is a great fight for Manny Pacquiao. Yeah, this is a great comeback fight. Like, who the fuck wants to see this, man? We saw what a fucking 46-year-old Yordenis Ugas did to Manny Pacquiao. Do we want to see a 26-year-old Conor Ben do the same thing but worse? No.
Hell no.
It's goofy. It's fucking goofy. And just hasn't fought in 3 years too. Like, it's just like, what is the point of this?
Yeah.
Whatever, man. It's what it is.
Enough on that, man. That was enough time for
20 minutes is enough for boxing this weekend. It's way more than enough.
Let's
get into this $2.99.
Let's fucking do it, dog. Because this was probably one of the funnest cards of the years thus far, stacked from top to bottom. And
before we start,
go
go.
Nah, because I'm ready to jump into this main event. So tell me.
No, I was just gonna say congrats to JJ on getting UFC Hall of Fame.
Hell yeah.
Unreal. I mean, I'm just thinking back to that fight with Wei Li Zhang, man. Unreal, man. I know they said at the time this might potentially be the best women's MMA fight of all time. Not even potential. That is the best women's MMA fight of all time. No question about it. And I couldn't think of anybody else more deserving than this honor than JJ. I just wasn't expecting it, man. Honestly, I was like, I'm a real one, man, but I was shedding a tear, bro. I was like, damn, man, that shit's crazy. She actually got Hall of Fame. Congrats to her, man. And all the things said about her were so spot on, man. Like, she really was like a true champion inside the octagon and fully embraced the role. I used to hate her. I used to hate JJ, man. I hated her attitude. Yeah. She was so annoying. But now I'm looking back on it, man. She embraced it so well, and she played that character perfectly. And she did it the right way, man. Not like fucking Colby Covington, where it's like, all right, people hate you because you're doing whatever you're doing with the whole "Make America Great" thing. It's like, it's like completely fake, but like hers just seems so authentic. And she was truly the villain in women's MMA. She was the villain. It wasn't Amanda Nunes. Amanda Nunes was the baddest and the greatest women's MMA athlete of all time. But JJ was the true villain in women's mixed martial arts, and she embraced that so perfectly, man. Yeah. And I always look back on, I'm like, dude, I fucking hate her, bro. Like, why is she being such a bitch at the press conferences? Why is she like fucking starting shit? And it's like, dude, she's such a good character. And damn, I was like, fuck. I shed a little tear, man. I was like, fuck, it's official. Like, once you're Hall of Fame, you can come back. You know what I mean? It's like you're never gonna see them fight again.
Yeah, so, it was for sure
a little bittersweet.
It was for sure, undoubtedly a special moment in Miami, a massive card. I wasn't expecting that shit, and like she felt like she just retired not too long ago, and for her to already be in the Hall of Fame just goes to show like how special she was to the sport. And I agree with the points you made. It was, now looking back on it, seeing her embrace that heel role is like it's something that like fighters these days should look back on and try to mimic their game, and embracing whatever is in front of you and just trying to be the best in your position. And she is a world champion at that. So congrats to JJ. And that Wei fight, man, that was one of the greatest
Best, the best,
25 minutes, like, as a
the
fan
best.
ever.
One of the best fights of all time, and definitely the greatest women's bout of all time. No question about it. I don't think there's anything that's going to come near that. That was two world champions. Well, Whaley wasn't champion yet, but that was two championship level fighters, the best in that division at the time. Just scrapping, man, non-stop scrapping. Like, that was intense. That was such an intense fight. I'm so glad we got to see that live too. Like, that's one of those fights where it's like I really take pride in that because, like, damn, like I actually witnessed that live. Like, that was incredible. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, that shit was awesome, man. But let's jump into this main event, this main card at UFC 299 in Miami. What a fucking phenomenal ending to a great card. The Sugar Show prevails, redeeming his only career loss against the Cheeto, man, the Cheeto Marlon Vera, in a masterpiece of a performance by Sean O'Malley. If you ask me, that dude looked like, I don't think I've ever seen Sean look as good from top to bottom in any performance. Like, yeah, he's had some spectacular knockouts, but like the fact that he was able to go a full 25 in a really, really tough kickboxing match kind of made it look easy at some points. He was just hitting and evading and not getting touched. Yeah, man, it was unbelievable, and congrats to the Sugar Show. But the real Bodman, what'd you think of the fight?
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty one-sided affair. Marlon Vera really, I don't know what it was with him. I pay a little bit of stock into him just because he fought Sugar Sean pretty well in that their first time in there, but there were just some things that I considered like that was the apex. This is a much bigger stage that they're fighting on, a much bigger canvas, and that's something I failed to mention back in our first podcast a few days ago when we are talking about our predictions of this, and that was something I failed to mention. Man, they did fight in the apex, and Sean was a little bit more limited in that canvas rather than this one. This is a much bigger canvas for Sean to move around, to be mobile, and do what he does best. And I thought he covered ground so well, man. He didn't fight Cheeto's fight; he fought his perfect fight, and he did, like you said, he did it phenomenally. He looked absolutely perfect in there. One thing about Marlon, though, that I would say, because this was a complete one-sided affair, so just some things about Marlon, that I feel like he did well, and he didn't give up, man. There were just so many moments in the fight where he just seemed so defeated. He couldn't do anything. He couldn't reach Sugar Sean. He couldn't hurt him. He just couldn't do anything. And we know he's notorious for giving up those first rounds, but there was no data to download on this. He couldn't even reach the guy. There was nothing to do. There was nothing about that first round that he should have gave up. And I think that's where he felt a little bit defeated, man, where he couldn't get anything going, because that's usually his game plan, right? Download the data, get going, finish the guy. That's a classic Marlon Vera fight, but there was none of that here, man. It was very, very spooky, man. It was a very, very spooky graveyard out there. And yeah, I thought he would. I thought he would perform a little bit better, but as I said, much bigger canvas to work with. And once you got Sugar Sean, who's basically excellent at controlling the octagon, it was a much different fight, man. Much, much different, man. I thought he would hurt him a lot more. I thought he would beat the legs up a little bit more. But just none of that, really. It was a very one-sided show. It was a little bit underwhelming, I would say, from a Marlon Vera perspective. But from a Sugar Sean perspective, this was as good as a fight you'll probably get from him up at this point of his career. And I think that says something to his character, and I think that says something to him as an athlete, where he looked 10 times better than he did in that first fight. And it did end prematurely, but he looked way better. And that's what you want to see out of a champion, right? Is for them to progress and get better and avenge those losses, kind of like a Dustin Poirier, I need like that one. But yeah, just a masterclass, outclassed the guy, none to none. I don't think any judge gave Marlon Vera a single point.
Yeah, they did it.
They did it. Yeah, they didn't give him a single point, and it showed in the fight. It really, really did show. But yeah, we talked about it last podcast, man. Well, at least I mentioned it. I don't know, you didn't like this response too much, but he's faced two really tough opponents in his career that he actually got a win on, but he's avoided 5 of the other dogs in this division. I just feel like he wasn't prepared for a fight of this caliber, and
talking about Cheeto.
It was just Cheeto. Absolutely talking about Cheeto. I just don't think he was prepared for a fight of this caliber, man. I feel like he needed another veteran or two, or another dog, somebody young. But it was just nothing. It was really nothing. He had nothing in this fight. It was scary to watch, man. It really was. But I imagine from a diehard Sugar Sean fan, you didn't give a fuck. This guy.
Who's a diehard Sugar Sean fan?
I'm just speaking in general.
Oh, okay. I thought you were trying to say I'm like, I don't know if I go.
No. I'm just saying, like, from a Sugar Sean fan perspective, you probably don't give a fuck about anything I'm saying about Cheetah. You're just so happy that Sugar Sean avenged his only loss against the guy that took him out, man. So, but yeah, great performance.
Took him out is not.
Love the call out.
It was a doctor stoppage. His leg gave out. Doctor stoppage. Didn't knock him out cold.
Yeah, he just got his fair ones at the end.
Yeah. Those elbows were kind of bad. Yeah.
And he got his fair one at the end too. He gave Sugar Sean a little something to remember.
But
gave him a little gut punch.
He did, and that was a bad one. If there was 40 more seconds in the 5th round, who knows how that one goes?
Yeah, that was a tough.
Maybe the tides turn a little bit.
Yeah, but to be fair, it was at the end of the bell, so he probably wasn't expecting it. Probably wasn't expecting to throw a shot. So it's very, very different. But anyway, I did like I did love the outcome of this fight. I love the call-outs at the end. I thought the call-outs were great.
You like the Ilya call-out, even though it's been clear that the UFC is not going to go in that direction? It makes no sense. Even though there's 3 possible number 1 contenders in the division that's stacked to the top. That you yourself just said that they fished Marlon out the back. You think for me, I'm speaking for me. I shouldn't direct that at you. My fault. For me, I hate the call out because it's clear that Merab's next. If not Merab, you have Corey. If not that guy, there's another guy. Why move up?
I just like the call out I'm just saying I like the call. I like that he's trying to become a 2-division champion. That's what I like.
It's annoying. It's annoying, the rushing. I'm a fan of the Israel Adesanya's that just stay in their division and fucking reign supreme and beat the shit out of anybody that thinks they're the best at that size. That's like the Kamaru Usmans, the GSPs. That's a real champ. Get in there, defending once, calling out the next weight class, trying to be champ.
Well, we know GSP wasn't just in one division.
Yeah, but that was later in his career. That's different. He reigns supreme at 170. He has the most title defenses at welterweight in the history of the weight class. That's what being a champion's about, gang.
No, I agree. I'm just saying I like that he's chasing another weight division. I mean, even though this is his only title defense, his first title defense, he's still chasing a legacy here, and you have to commend him for that call out, man. Ilya is probably the most dangerous fighter in the UFC right now. So, I mean, that props to him, man. And you don't think it would be a good matchup?
It'd be a fun ass fight. And I'm not saying that. Yeah, I'd pay money for that fight. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying as a fan of the sport, as a fan of just reigning supreme. I just said number of guys that have done it. That's what you should. That's gangster, bro. That's what being a champion's about. And especially again, a weight class as stacked as Bantam. And not only that, but people call the somebody who defends once, twice, 3 times the GOAT of that weight class every few years. He can be the GOAT like this.
Yeah, no, it's
He
true.
does like 3 more fights like this. Who else? Like now Sean's the best bantamweight of all time, and then he moves up, and then it's like, oh my god,
or he becomes the shortest 2 division champion in the history of the sport.
That's weak to me. That's weak.
That's a great feat for me, man. I'm gonna be honest. I love the call out. I think it was great, but I do think that there is unfinished business in this weight division too. I 100% agree with that.
Yeah,
well, I'm not saying let's do this fight tomorrow. Definitely, he has to fight Merab. There's no question about it. Has to fight him. And I'm gonna be honest. That performance last night, I don't know, Merab. I don't know, twin. I don't know, twin.
If Marab's unable to take him down and tire him out, if he makes it a kickboxing match, it'll be a long night. But like that wrestling, like Merab never gets tired. Like I think stylistically, Merab is the toughest matchup for Sean O'Malley in the division. The toughest one. He's gonna go fight a guy at 145 that he knows is just gonna stand with him. That caters to what Sean is best at. That's what he wants, gang. Stay at 35. Fight Merab. I dare you. Fight Merab. That's the best fight there is at 35. That's the only fight. That proves that, like, all right, I'm him here. But that was a world-class beating that he put on Cheeto that he deserves a ton of credit for. That is a great title defense. I know those pay-per-view points are gonna cash serious checks, and well-deserved. And like, it's crazy to think Sean's doing this and he's only like 29, 28, something insane.
Yeah.
And he's really like running the sport is some impressive shit.
Mm-hmm.
But let's move on to the co-main because I'm excited to talk about DP. For me, like one of the like just feel good moments of this card, seeing a guy prevail when like the whole world was doubting him out, plus 200 at one point of the week, just craziness.
And yeah, plus 200 is tough.
Crazy. Like the things he's done for the sport, and like he's not 45, he's not 30, like he's only 35, which yeah, it's not young in MMA years, but it's not like a senior citizen by no means. And he's a gangster, bro. He just pulled up the shorts and just hit him with the bang, bang, bang. That right hook caught Benoit Saint Denis when he least expected it. And Josh, I'm curious what you thought of the fight, especially like when you were so passionate about the young Wolves, which I feel like is a rightful take. In a weird way, last point. In a weird way, Benoit kind of had a built-in excuse with this staff in his head and the antibiotics. Have you seen this? I know you have at this point.
We've talked about this.
Anyways, he's came out after the fight and like posted that like I only had one good round to give my people, and I'm sorry for letting y'all down. I couldn't pull out of a fight like DP, and props to him for of course not pulling out and pulling up to fight and winning the first round. But then DP got going and bang bang bang, like I said. But real Bodman, what'd you think of DP showing and the big KO victory?
Yeah, I thought that it was, you know, it's one of those things too where it's like he did have the staph infection. It's like, you know, we don't pay too much stock into that when we think about when a guy hops in the cage. It's like, who cares, right? Like you hopped in and you fought the guy anyway, so you accepted what comes with that, regardless win or lose. But I just think that, you know, it did seem pretty bad, man. It seemed like he had because most of the staph infections, like it'll be like a skin disease or I forget what they call the other one, but there's other staph infections, like subunits of the staph infection that actually enter the bloodstream and it like affects a fighter. And I'm guessing that's what he had, is the one that entered his bloodstream. So that shit can be deadly. So the fact that he even took the fight was just like, I honestly, if he came out and was like, yeah, this staph infection is going to stop me from fighting, yeah, people would have been like, what the fuck? But then, you know, that shit's deadly, man. It's a real deal. But he showed up. So, you know, you got to accept what comes with that. And I thought after that first round, I messaged you too. I was like, oh man, this is not going to end well for Dustin Poirier. And then literally like 30 seconds later, he's on the ground unconscious. And it was it was a terrifying first round, though, dude. I was like, Dustin Poirier is going to be in for a long night. He was in his face. I love the 1-2 combinations going to the takedown. It was money every single time. Dustin kept shooting for those guillotines as he always does. Man, shout out to John Anik, man, because he was fucking DC, man, all night. DC and Joe Rogan. This was probably one of the more annoying commentary I've ever seen from these two. Fucking DC was like, every time Dustin was shooting for a fucking guillotine, he was like, man, that fucking guillotine, man, it's deadly. Dustin Poirier, man, he's got the best guillotine in the fucking division. John Anik goes, he literally has never submitted somebody with a guillotine. And DC is just like, quiet, bro.
Yeah.
Bullshit. Just saying nothing all night.
Yeah.
Fucking every time somebody got their leg kicked, Joe Rogan would just scream at the top of his lungs. I'm like, dude, this is some of the most shameless commentary I've seen on that. But anyway,
come on. I love those guys. Be nice.
I'm just saying it was one of the more shameless commentaries they've done tonight.
That's me.
It was so biased. It was so biased. I'll get to some points later with some of these fights of how biased they were. But yeah, Benoit.
I'm kind of shocked that you still watch fights with the commentary, dude. Why don't you just shut that shit off?
I'm gonna listen to a bunch of guys just
anything else. Watch a movie, have something playing in the background. Like
I have to have the audio playing. I can't watch a fight with no audio. That's crazy.
Yeah, I feel like I wish they gave the option in the streaming platform
for no commentary.
Yeah, like I don't want to hear them dudes. I'd rather hear like the Spanish dudes go crazy because I'm not gonna like follow along. I just want to hear like a knee that Sean landed in that second round. That's all I want to hear.
Yeah,
that shit was crazy. By the way, did you hear that?
Yeah, that we didn't even mention the Sean O'Malley knee.
That was like a baseball bat.
He cracked he broke his cheek.
That's what it was.
Yeah, he actually broke his cheek. And you could tell at the end of the fight during his post-fight interview, his cheek was so swollen and he could barely talk.
Like he was definitely unrecognizable.
Yeah, it was a different person. It was scary. But yeah, beggars can't be choosers, man. Shout out to Stream East. You know, I'm not buying these fights, so it's like, you know, I can't be a chooser, right?
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, back to Benoit and Dustin. Yeah, it was a phenomenal first round from Benoit. I was like, if this goes on for another 4 rounds, it might even end earlier than this. Benoit was so, and you know what's crazy is he does have a lot of submission wins, more than he has knockouts. But I was like, bro, he might actually clip Dustin Poirier here, man, because Dustin had that. He didn't even have a high guard on the fence, dude. He was asking to get clipped, man. Yeah. But it was just such a perfect way of inviting him in for the grappling so he can try to secure a guillotine. It just makes no sense to me why he would do it that many times. But just an interesting approach to have a low guard and invite a guy in like that. Like, you're just asking to get clipped. But regardless, it worked out for him. He got gashed out after it was a high tempo first round for Benoit. Sure. He was tiring Dustin out as well. Dustin definitely was exhausted in that second round as well, but he was in much better shape than Benoit, and he clipped him, man. He got him good. Man.
Yeah, bing, bing, bong. Bing, bing, bong, got it done. And yeah, I love the guillotine jumps, even though they weren't working. He did not give up on it. And in between rounds, his coach was like, Dustin, stop jumping these guillotines. Stop it. It's not working out for you. And like 30 seconds into the next round, he jumped another one. And I was like, that's vintage.
You can't blame him.
You can't blame him. Like, he had a game plan, the coach had a game plan. They didn't match, and he followed his own. I love. It doesn't always work out, but you love when it does. You love when
I feel like when a fighter gets to that level anyway, that veteran status, you know, it really is whatever the fight. You know, the coaches see something that the fighters may not be able to see because they're so jaded and they're fighting in the moment. There's a lot of adrenaline, you know, but you always got to trust the fighter at the end of the day because they're the ones in there fighting. But honestly, I don't blame the guy because Benoit would do the same 1-2, pressure him, and then shoot. Like, he was asking to get guillotine shot. I feel like if that was any other guy who could really submission hunt and do well with the submission hunting, I feel like Benoit would have got submitted in the first round with
Possibly.
how
What if it was like
deep.
Charles or like a?
Oh, dude, Charles is securing that every time, bro. Are you kidding me? That guillotine was he was asking for it, bro. It was, but Dustin got the reads. Dustin got the reads early, and he micro adjusted, and he got the shot off. Man, it was a good shot, well timed.
Yeah.
Oh man, that slow motion was crazy, man. The blood coming out of his face, his eyes going in the back of his head. Nasty stuff, man.
Yeah, it was clean stuff, man. A veteran performance, and it was a feel good moment last night. So congrats to DP, great win, and I'm excited to see what Benoit does next, because this was a humongous jump in competition, and I hope he fights somebody kind of in that middle tier level, and then runs, because he's still nice. He's still gonna come back and be up there. But moving on, the welterweight had a debut that was a weird, fascinating fight. I
told you it was a circus.
Well described by you. I was so excited for this, and I was a little like,
one-sided affair, man.
What the fuck is this? Not a great representation of the UFC caliber fighter, but Kevin Holland was just outclassed. I felt like he didn't understand the distance. He
didn't understand anything.
It was just a distance. Like he was closing it in such an insane speed, and like by the time Kevin Holland realized he was that close, he would get hit with a few shots, and most of the time they were big, heavy overhand rights that Michael Venom Page hit him with like 10 times. I was like, it's this, like, it keeps coming.
It's the same punch every time.
And like Holland was clearly frustrated as that fight progressed. In his corner, he was like telling his corner, he's not.
I know what you're gonna say.
He's not there.
He's faster than we thought.
He's faster than we thought.
Verbatim. I was crying when he said that.
Oh man,
that's what we thought.
What'd you think of the fight?
No, it was a fucking circus act. Like I said, Michael Venom Page, he's the most strange fighter I've ever seen. I want to see him versus. I know everybody's talking about Wonder Boy, which would be an amazing fight. I want to see him versus Michelle Pierre, man. That would be, and that would be a true circus act. Seeing those two bang it out, that would be such a good fight, right? I'm surprised nobody mentioned that fight. That would be so
in terms
good.
of antics, not like Michael Pereira, like Michelle would get starched, right? Like we all know he would lose in dramatic fashion, but like they would be dancing, backflips will be happening. Like,
it's a fun fight.
Did you see P Header come out and do the dance on Saturday? I was like, yo,
that's what I was saying.
Let's fucking go.
And he won in dramatic fashion too. Good for him.
Yeah, first round, Gilly.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I want to see that
naked, right? It was from the back. Yeah. Pause.
I want to see these two fight, man. That'd be incredible. But back to their fight.
Wonder Boy would also be fun, right?
Wonder Boy would be so fun.
That'd be awesome.
I don't care which one happens. Make one of those two happen. But yeah, man, fuck, dude. That was such a one-sided affair, man. And honestly, this grappling heavy approach, Kevin Holland. And granted, I got to give it to him. He's been working his ass off the past 3 years with the grappling, with the wrestling, with the jiu-jitsu. He's doing a phenomenal job with it. But that approach in this fight was just never going to work, man. I feel like he had to stand and bang with him after at least that first round. Because a whole round of just trying to get this guy on the fence and then take him down, it wasn't going. Michael Venom was way long. He was way too long. And granted, he is an amateur and in the grappling, but he's just way too long, man. He was way too lengthy. He wasn't trying to go down. And Kevin Holland, he was just like flustered. He didn't know what to do. He didn't nothing was working for him. But I thought he should have just trusted himself with the stand up, try to catch Michael Venom Page coming in, something, man, something to get him going. Because Michael Venom Page didn't have the greatest activity as well, right? Like I said, he was throwing these one punches every fucking 2 minutes and cracking him every time, and then he would follow up with a combination after. But just nothing. It was just a lifeless Kevin Holland in there, and that was concerning for me. But congrats to Michael Venom Page, man. What a great way to enter the UFC against a great opponent, honestly.
Yeah, seriously, a fun opponent and setting up another fun fight. You listed one, the Wonder Boy ones out there, and there's a handful of others at 170. So it's gonna be interesting to see how high this guy can go. We seen Mike Chandler come in the UFC and fight for a world title after a few fights.
Yeah.
Could he do the same thing?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Crazy.
But speaking of bound for a world title, JDM, man, and this is your chance for a victory lap, so I'll let you lead this one.
But honestly, all honesty, I can't really say that because he was a minute and 35 seconds from losing that fight.
Yeah.
But overall, that striking, man. I tried to warn you, man. That striking is deadly.
No bullshit. Yeah, you got that too. I was after that. I was like, let me go watch a JDM fight. Let me just double check.
His stand up is so good, man. And
granted, respect.
And granted, it is a Gilbert Burns, and this is exactly how I like the outcome of this fight is exactly how I would have expected it. And exactly how I said it on the podcast, man. It was either going to be an endless fucking 15 minutes for JDM, which it was, or it was going to be a knockout, a masterclass from JDM. And man, what a way to do it, man. Gilbert Burns, he's such a weird fighter, man. He's in these fights with these crazy guys, man. He's had exceptional performances. He's done so well, but he just keeps coming up short somehow, man. Kamaru Usman did a great job with him first round. World champion. Did a great job in the first round. Did a great job with Hamza. Did a great job against Bilal. Then gets injured. And now he fucking sells it again, man. I don't know how this keeps happening to him. He's the most unlucky welterweight in this entire division, and is one of the best. Yeah. He's one of the best and one of the most unlucky.
Yeah, well, he's
a minute and 35 seconds.
He's one of the most beloved. Like, I feel like notoriously everybody loves Gilbert Burns.
I do agree. Yeah.
But you are right. Yeah, he always comes up just like a little bit short in these big fights, just a little bit, because he was a few like 90 seconds away from securing a humongous W and validating his spot in that top of the division. But then you look at these like total strike numbers, and it's really one-sided. Your guy JDM led these stat sheets, and like seven takedowns ultimately was like the deciding factor. All that control time, that's what was
second round.
Yeah, that was leading Gilbert towards that victory. But I was wrong about JDM striking, and I'm a man, so I'll stand on that. You know, we're all wrong from time to time. But I will not be wrong again. JDM's a legit threat to anybody in this weight class. A gifted striker, and that guy really can dig deep, bro. Like I don't know how he was able to get out from the bottom in that position in that third round, and then know Gilbert was gonna shoot again and throw that knee and perfectly time it. Gifted striker,
high level thinking, man. He's nowhere near the fence. He's got him facing the other side of the cage. He had to know, like in that moment, he thought really quick, he's going to shoot again. If I get taken down here, I'm in the middle of the mat. I can't get up. There's no fence behind me. So that level of thinking, man, is just like unbelievable. In a matter of like 2 seconds, he got up and did that. It was
a great strike, man. It was a great setup and earned him the knockout. Earned him the dub. 50 G's, baby.
I fucking love that call out too. Shavkat Rakhmanov's call out. What a savage, man. Who called that guy out? And you gotta love Shavkat Rakhmanov's response to that on Twitter. I have to pull this up for Beal. He said, I almost got chills reading this. I was what the fuck?
I screenshot it because I knew we'd make a clip on it. So please read it for the
You said, I respect your courage and confidence, Jack, but you will face the same fate as my previous opponents.
Nuts.
What a savage response to that call up.
Nuts, man.
And respectfully, it just says a lot. The guy's finished every single opponent he's gotten in the octagon with. who in their fucking right mind would call that guy out?
Yeah,
Jack did.
Jack did Lamont, and like after
Jack
that,
did.
like whoever wins that fight, it's clear that they deserve a title shot. Respectfully,
No, I agree.
my guy Bilal's next. That's like
Nobody mentioned his name
well,
tonight. That
nobody
was
did, and
disrespectful.
nobody should, because the only person that should be calling him is Leon Edwards. Come on, mate, come
I
across the pole,
agree.
mate. But
I
JDM, a
agree.
gangster call out. I love the Shavkat fight. That'd be a main event on a fight night, on the best
Yeah,
fight night card.
easily. Yeah,
That could lead a fight night in person, like a live
yeah.
event. That could headline. So
Great
yeah,
call.
I love the call out. No one's called out Sean Brady, which I find a bit interesting. I really want to see Sean Brady shine in this weight class, but nobody seems to be calling him out.
He's a high risk, low reward fighter,
Yeah,
man.
well said. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. But opening up the 299 main card, it was a thriller of a boxing matchup against Peter Yan and Song Yadong.
Man, shit.
What?
Say you told me so, man.
Yeah, I want to, but like after that first round, I was like, I'm in trouble. What I said might have been like Peter was in bad shape. He got hurt, and that leg was really compromised early. And
we know he notoriously starts these fights off very slow, though.
Yeah, that's true.
But it was just a little concerning to start a fight off slow in a 3-round fight. I think you really got to get going there. But he just dominated him 2 rounds in a row. Just dominated him, bro. Yeah. Dominated Song Yadong 2 rounds in a row. I was like, oh, well, doesn't even matter what that first round outcome was. Man, Peter Yan is back, man.
Yeah.
Safe to say he is back. I'm so glad he wrestled in this fight too. He just looked phenomenal. He looked incredible. On the feet, looked better than Song Yadong. In the wrestling, looked better than Song Yadong. In the grappling, looked better. The footwork was great. I'm just sad we only got to see 10 minutes of it. I wish we got to see a full 15 of this. Now we got to wait another 7 months to see a Peter Yan fight. So
it did go a full 15.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
said no, that's what I'm saying. We saw 10 minutes of him being a fucking human being.
Yeah, my bad. Because he clearly lost that first round. My bad.
Yeah, he did nothing in that first round.
Yeah. That's a fact. But it was still a close fight. Song Yadong is still a gangster. Like he did well against the former world champion. But yeah,
it was just tough, man. It was tough, man.
He turns back. And there's a few fun fights out there for him. What if in a few months down the line, Cheeto?
He would start Cheeto.
Come on, bro. Don't let recency bias like misguide.
I'm not. I always said this. I always said we haven't seen Cheeto fight any of these guys that are scrapping it out. Let's see Cheeto and Song, man. Song Yadong. That's all we need to see.
Yeah, that'd be nice too. I'd like that fight.
I think that'd be a great fight for him to go in there and after getting demolished for 25 minutes against Sean O'Malley. Do you really want to see him get demolished for another 25 minutes against Peter Yan? No. Mm-hmm. Let's get him in there for the 3-rounder or a 5-rounder with Song Yadong and go from there.
Yeah, there's options. So who do you want to see Peter fight next?
I think Peter should fight Aljamain next. I think it makes sense.
Aljo's on 300 and at 45.
That is true. Fuck, he is fighting.
Yeah, he's not an option.
I mean, there's
really
not much for him. There's not much for him, I feel like right now.
Fight Usman.
Usman
Ngannou. Yeah, Umar. I said Usman. That's kind of crazy. All right.
That was kind of crazy. Yeah, I mean, there's not really much options for him at this point. I feel like the matchmakers will find something good.
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah, he's a former
that's what I mean.
They'll
but that's
find
what I mean. That's what I mean. The bantamweight's just so stacked right now. It's like we're not gonna see this guy fight for 6 months.
That's true.
He's only getting older.
What if Figgy knocks out Cody in a few weeks? Figgy versus Peter. 35? No? Zero excitement? Any excitement? Nah? Silence? All right. Moving on, where do you think Sean ranks in terms of like superstar pull and reach and numbers? Like, where does he rank?
I mean, there's no way you don't put him top 3.
Top 3.
He has to be top 3. He has so much motion outside of the UFC. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. All right. Name me the 2 above him then.
Say Conor McGregor's still like everybody in the world is tuning into a Conor McGregor fight. So I'll definitely say he's number 1. Number 2,
active on the roster.
Active on the roster.
Yeah, it can't be like competing. It has to be like current, like somebody who can headline a card.
Yeah, I'll say Sugar Sean number 2.
Ooh.
And number 3. Damn, who would be number? I would say probably it has to be like it has to be one of these Russian fighters, man, because they have so much motion, bro. Russia is so big, bro. You have no idea how big Russia is, bro.
What? You're gonna go over the middleweight? The middleweight king. You're gonna go over him?
Well, you're talking about as far as like outreach. Yeah, he has a lot of people. What's the question? What's the question? I don't think I'm understanding this.
I don't think you are either. All right. The question is pound for pound. Like, who can the UFC put on a main event that will pull the most, make the people most excited?
Okay. Yeah, I'd probably go Conor, Sugar Sean, and Israel Adesanya in that order. I would say for sure.
Let's do it again.
Conor, Sugar Sean, and Israel Adesanya.
Wow. So you think Sean over?
Dude, the amount of clown wigs in that crowd was intense. I was getting very worried, bro. Something was going to go down that night.
Yeah. It was. I feel like at this point, I fumbled the bag when he came to Boston and fought. I gotta be in the arena for a Sugar Sean fight, man. Like the crowd just seems so insane.
Yeah.
Like one of the best.
I can't miss a fight of him. Yeah.
Yeah, it was hearing like Ecuador scream Ecuador and USA scream USA, and just hearing that the whole fight was crazy, bro. It was crazy.
Yeah, we got to go to a UFC event.
Yeah, we got to, bro. We got to travel to one. I want to go to one in like Mexico or some shit.
I'd be down for that. That would be a crazy card.
That'd be
nuts. Or Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi, Spain, if that ever happens.
Oh, that'd be crazy. Yeah.
But yeah, bro, what a card this was. I think, what are we, an hour and 20 in?
Hour 12.
Hour 12. What a pod this has been. An exciting card, exciting weekend of fights. The real Bodman, I appreciate the time today. If you care to buy some of this beautiful merch I have sitting behind me, or the one that I'm displaying beautifully on my chest, it is available at shophbp.com. You can shop there. I have a 25% off for the first few weeks that the shop is open, just for my peoples. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that's interested in buying, I'm blessed. Free shipping. Buy now, buy today, hbpshop.com. Real Bodman, till we do this next time, bro. Take it easy.
Take it easy, brother.